Okay, I think we are live. Apologies about my weirdness. Um, Trying to go live inside the Facebook group now is actually impossible on your laptop. So I'm just checking. Yes, we're live. Okay, right. We are live. We are live. Let's just make sure we let everyone know we are live. Right. Okie dokie, if you guys are watching this on replay, please drop in the comments and say hi, say replay, let me know that you're watching this because if you're watching then that means that this is the kind of content that you guys need. And to be honest with you, it's like 3 years in now. So I'm going to need a little bit of help choosing the right content to curate for you. So you have the tools, you have the knowledge and everything you need to start your health and weight loss journey. Of course, everything else is going to kick into place when you jump on the masterminds and the free challenges and everything like that that we have involved. But I want to make sure that I'm giving you enough information and the right information that you need to start. So please type in live so I know at least that you are live and that you're watching and that you are around. I am absolutely shattered today. I stupidly stayed up last night until about midnight. My alarm goes off at 4:45. Um, and trust me, I preach about sleep all the time, but I was actually really getting into the nitty-gritty with my free challenge that's coming up. And I just couldn't I just couldn't get to sleep until I'd done like all of these little tweaks and changes. And so I'm so excited for July's challenge coming up. But as a result, I am absolutely freaking knackered. I was talking to a client today about like the domino effect. So when our sleep is impacted, when our sleep is just poor, we get poor quality, maybe the cats or the kids woke us up, or maybe you just didn't get enough sleep. Your body doesn't have enough time to go into the right amount of deep sleep. So about 5 cycles that we go in through the night. And that's enough to clean up all of like the crap that's left behind in the brain and help us feel revitalized and refreshed, right? When I woke up, I was like, yeah, sure, I've had enough sleep, I'll be fine. And come like halfway through the day, I was just like starting to totally crash. And I'm very much one to really watch over my sleep and make sure that I'm always in bed by a certain time, winding down by a certain time. So for me, sleep is so important because of that domino effect. I know that if I don't get enough sleep, I'm going to be craving foods. Now, thankfully, I don't have like junk food or processed foods in the house. We do have dates, we do have peanut butter, and we do have bananas. So that tends to be my go-to when I need a little bit of energy in the afternoon. But at the same time, I don't want to be eating if I want to manage my weight. So just another little tip for you, another tidbit is it is so important to get your sleep. The reason why I started that huge caveat is because I wanted to apologize if my brain goes off on a complete tangent because I am so damn tired. Anyway, so let's get into it. Guys, don't forget if you're watching live, say hello, put in the comments, say hello so I know you're here because I can't see anything. If you're watching this on replay, put in the comments replay, say hi. So again, I know that you guys are watching this content. The more you engage on the content, by the way, the more I know what to put out, the more I know how to help you. It's why I've asked every single one of you what your struggles are, what your challenges are, so I can put out more content that you love. So please, if you're watching this, say hello. Um, I really wanted to start this live with a perfect example of like blowing out on the weekend, right? So I know that I talked about this live being a training on how to enjoy the weekend without screwing your goals. But I just wanted to start from like the reasoning and the ways that we actually ruin it. So I'm going to give you one, two, three, four, five, 6 ways that we actually the reasons why, sorry, I'm going to give you 6 reasons why we completely blow out on the weekend. Okay. Basically, a last minute change for life, but you're going to still get a lot of value if you stick around. Now, I've had quite a few clients come with me. I've currently got clients that are experiencing similar things before or right now, where we will be so good and we will do so well throughout the week. And we can stick to our gym sessions, we can stick to our healthy oats for breakfast, we can stick to our meal prep. And then typically by about Wednesday, we start getting a little bit fussy. I don't fancy that. And then Thursday rolls around and we're just like, okay, feeling tired, looking forward to the weekend. What am I going to do for the weekend? And I noticed quite a lot that people will start planning on Thursday what they're going to do on the Friday. Maybe I'm going to go out for some drinks. It's been a stressful week, right? Tell me if this is you. Tell me if you've experienced this before. It's been a stressful week. I deserve a treat. I've worked so hard. I did so well at the gym. And then so we start planning these weekend sessions, whether it's drinks with the friends, drinks with the family. Maybe we're going to go out for dinner instead of eating dinner at home. Maybe we fob off the last day of meal prep, right? Because we just feel like we deserve that treat. We feel like we need a little pat on the back, like we need some sort of reward, right? Now, thank you. Quite a lot of the time, um, throughout the week, and I'm going to go into it in a second, throughout the week, there's so many reasons why we're actually setting ourselves up for failure at the weekend. And I don't use that word lightly. For failure at the weekend, um, and intentionally sabotaging our goals as well. We're intentionally sabotaging all of the work that we've put in throughout the week. And some of the reasons are the same reasons that one of my clients or a couple of my clients have. So they typically are really, really good throughout the week. And then it comes to the weekend, Friday night's hit, and then that's it. Big blowout, right? We're going to get in the wine, we're going to get in the cheese board, we're going to get in the takeaway. It's been such a busy week. My boss yelled at me. I deserve a treat. All of the above. I hear all of it. And the stressful thing for them, and maybe for you if you've experienced this before, is that you have such good intentions, such wonderful intentions. I do not doubt your intentions at all. On a Sunday night or Monday, you probably sit down, you say, right, I'm going to do this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday, and then I'm going to eat this on Monday, right? And so you go through your entire week, if you do, and you set out some good intentions for yourself. I'm going to be so good this week. I'm going to get back on it on Monday. I'm going to start again, and I'm going to be really good this time. And I have no doubt that in that moment that you're making that promise to yourself, you mean it. I have no doubt about that. My clients are the same. But let's face it, the version of you that's planning at the end of the week or the beginning of the week, or even the beginning of the day, is an incredibly different version than the one that's tired, rung through the ringer, dragged through the bush backwards by Friday. It's a very different person to the one that got caught up in traffic. Their boss yelled at them that day. They forgot their lunch, so they had to go to the coffee shop. They spilt their coffee on their shirt. And then they come home. Then they've got to make dinner for everyone else. And they've got to be a busy mom and a busy housewife. And they've got to clean up after everyone else. And then in the evening, it's the only time that they have to unwind, decompress from the day. And so all of those good intentions that they had, that you had in the morning, is no longer there. Now, if we apply the same logic, the same theory to the entire week, there are so many reasons why we're not setting ourselves up for success on the weekends. Now, the example that I'm using is two of my clients. I'm not going to mention their names, but two of my clients, right? Or two particular clients that I can think of right now. And on Friday, they blow it out the window, they drink a couple of bottles of wine by themselves and some like a big takeaway or a cheese board and what have you. And then that's fine. And then they wake up the next day and they're like, oh, really shouldn't have eaten that. Why did I do that? I'm on a diet. And so they start boarding the shame train. Have you ever felt this way, where you felt just so compelled to enjoy yourself and treat yourself, but then the next day you're feeling so guilty? You're feeling so ashamed of yourself because you didn't follow through, because now your willpower sucks. Now suddenly you can't diet. Now it's your problem. It's your fault. This is what was happening. And so Saturday was rolling around and it was, well, I'm on the shame train. I might as well just feed my emotions. I might as well carry on. I got another night out with the girls, or I'm going to spend the night out with the husband. And we're just going to, screw it. It's the weekend. I tell you what, I'll start on Monday. And I hear this so many times. Please let me know if any of this resonates with you. Have you ever experienced this before? Now, again, your intentions then get reset on a Sunday night. I'm going to do so good. I'm going to do so well next week. Next week is a different week. It's a fresh week. I'm going to get out my plans. Right, let's get out some recipes. We get out some books. We get out a little pen and paper, and we set our intentions. And then again, it happens again. And we're stuck in this same shitty cycle, right? Same shitty cycle. And again, it's because we haven't set up the specific conditions to make our weekend successful. So at the moment, everything that you're doing is setting you up to fail on the weekends. Okay. And like I said, I'm going to go through, how many did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go through 6 reasons, or 6 reasons why it's blowing out, likely to blow out on the weekend. Okay. So if this is resonating with you, please let me know in the chat. I've got my phone over here. I've got my laptop here. Lisa, hello. Thank you for joining us. Simone, thank you for joining us. Miranda, Fran, lovely to see you all here, ladies. Rao, hello, Rao. Ladies, if any of this is resonating with you, please drop in the comments and just say me if you have experienced any of this before. Because another reason why I say that is I want you to realize that you are not alone, right? I just told you that 2 of my clients, at the top of my head that I think of, do this. And I guarantee they're not the only clients that I've got under my wing right now. Not ever, but just under my wing right now. They're not the only ones. That by the time Friday gets along, we're tired, we're exhausted, we deserve a little treat, right? Or maybe we had some donuts in the office today because they brought them in. Now that means that my week is completely blown. So because I can't carry on, because it's not perfect, then I might as well just crash out this weekend and start again Monday. Okay. If you're guilty, I'm going to say it one more time. If you're guilty of saying those words, I will just start on Monday, give me your hand. Let me know. So, what are the reasons? What? Okay, apparently that's my partner as well. What are the reasons? I'm just seeing around the corner of my eye going like that. I'm like, thanks, babe. Yeah, making me look great. So what are the reasons why it's likely that you're blowing out on the weekends? And of course, how can we fix this to create success, to create an environment, a strategy, a plan, a different way of thinking, so that you're not getting to the end of the day or halfway through the week and saying, screw it. So one of the reasons that I see quite often is that you're probably being way too restrictive throughout the week. Okay. So yes, it's very possible that all of your good intentions, very, very strict intentions. It's like, okay, so at the weekend, I'm going to go out, I'm going to stuff my face off, I'm going to drink endless bottles of wine, I'm going to act like an absolute, I don't know what to say now. I'm going to act like an absolute asshole to myself. And then Monday to Friday, I'm an absolute angel sent from the heavens. I'm not letting anything touch my lips but water and salad. That water and salad throughout the week is too restrictive. So what you've now done is allowed a 2-day window where you can let your guard down. Let yourself enjoy the foods that you actually enjoy eating. And what happens here when we have a restrictive mindset around food is a primitive thing, right? Primitive, primal, whatever. It's a primal thing that when there's food that gives us dopamine, that we love, that we enjoy, that makes us feel good, that tastes good, when it's around, maybe it's probably high calorie as well. When it's around and we're not supposed to have it, our brain goes into that, oh shit, we're probably never going to have this again. So eat as much as we can so we can get it all down us because we'll never have this opportunity again. We know logically that that's not what happens, but unfortunately, it's very difficult to have a conversation with your subconscious and say, whoa, chill out. We can have this next week. But also, you might not be having that conversation with yourself. You might be saying things like, oh my God, I'm not supposed to have cake when I'm on a diet. Okay, so I was on a diet. I'm on a diet today. So I'm not supposed to have a croissant. I'm not supposed to have a cake. I'm not supposed to have this or that. So now you're creating a very restrictive mindset around that particular food or multiple foods, plates, whatever it is. And you're creating this severe restriction. And then the brain goes, oh, we're not supposed to have it. We can have it. Have it all now. And then so you have this strong, strong urge to just eat everything that you can from that thing. Let me know if this resonates with you. Have you ever started eating something and you're like, oh, shouldn't do that? And then before you know it, you've literally eaten the entire packet of biscuits. Like, I will stand here and put my hand up to that. Like, absolutely. And do you know when it comes about? When you say, I shouldn't have this, I'm on a diet, this is naughty. When you start demonizing foods, villainizing them, we start creating this restriction and this deprivation around it. And that's when the brain goes, take as much as you can. So maybe it's a possibility that throughout the week, you are way too restrictive for what you enjoy, how you find like this equilibrium between healthy and joy and enjoyment. And by the way, they can work simultaneously, it's fine. But maybe we are creating way too much of that negative mind space or that restrictive mindset, deprivational style mindset throughout the week. But then the weekend, because we have no plan, we don't have anything in place, it just goes all out the window because the brain goes, alcohol, sugar, cakes, salty things. Let's have it all because we're not supposed to do that. So have a look at where you might see a lot of restriction in your life. Okay. Let me know in the comments below this video, is this resonating with you? Have you experienced any of this before? Make sure you put in the chat. I don't think I'm seeing any comments. So can someone please just type something? I think people are just coming and going though. I don't think people are sitting there watching. Okay. Reason number 2. You're probably not sleeping or drinking enough throughout the week. No, I don't mean alcohol. I mean the very reason that I told you, or the very thing that I told you that I wasn't quite up to scratch with today. If I got £1 every time someone says to me, oh yeah, I get about like 5-6 hours of sleep. So I get enough sleep, then I'd be rich. 5 to 6 hours is not enough. And very typically, women need more sleep than men. Yes, we need more sleep than men. But also we need about 7 to 9 hours worth. If you have an illness, a disability, if you're healing, if you're sick, if your body is run down, you need more sleep. So typically, if you're getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep, you're not getting near enough sleep. And I see this a lot Monday to Friday, right? We get home from work, we make dinner, we clean up, we then chill. It's our only time to chill. Maybe we have to put the kids to bed first. And then again, we put the kids to bed first, and then we sit down and we have some food because we're tired, and we snack. We put the TV on, we maybe fall asleep to the TV, and we're just perpetuating this lack of sleep, this tiredness, this fatigue all the way throughout the week. And so all of that has built up. And at the weekend, we just go crazy because we're releasing the barrier, we're releasing that guard, and our body goes, oh, okay. It's like starting a race and someone's holding like their arm out in front of you, going, no, no, not yet. And then all of a sudden Friday comes, the gates open, and then we go crazy, right? Then your body's going, take all of the calories. I don't know when we're going to get enough sleep. And it's going into this like survival mode because you are forcing yourself to stay awake for longer periods of time than you actually need to without the calories to keep you awake. Or maybe you're probably eating those calories in the evening. You're an evening snacker. This is something to think about. So think about the fact that you might be sleep deprived. Okay. Reason number 3, you haven't created a plan for the weekend. Sorry, reading my notes. Maybe you haven't created a plan for the weekend. So your schedule is way out of whack when it comes to the weekend. Okay. So what I see again a lot is we have this very strict regime Monday to Friday. Typically, whatever your working hours are, right? Your working week, you'll have a very strict routine. You'll probably get up at the same time. You probably brush your teeth with the same hand. You probably eat maybe the same breakfasts, or you'll stop by the same place to grab the same kind of breakfast. You'll go to work at the same time. You travel to work at the same time. Work happens. You have the same lunch break. Come home. Yada 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 yada. You get the idea, right? Everything is the same. So you have created a plan for the week that suits Monday to Friday. Great. And that's just presupposing that you've actually made a plan for Monday to Friday, like a thorough plan. But then the weekend comes along, you're not doing the same things. You're not brushing your teeth at the same time, you're not having breakfast at the same time. Suddenly you're catching up on some sleep. Your sleeping pattern is completely all out of whack. So because the weekend is so drastically different, and you haven't allowed yourself a secondary plan for the weekend, a plan for success. Now, the plan that we have installed in here that we need to be adhering to no longer works on the weekend. So that goes out the window. So you're like, oh, fuck this. My plan has gone out the window. My structure is all out the window. I don't know what I should be doing every weekend because I haven't created a structure. And that's okay. You can still work on like a spontaneity. You can still be spontaneous at the weekends. But if you don't have a specific plan in place for the weekend, you are still expecting the same level of competence, the same level of adherence as Monday to Friday. So if you're someone who plans, or if you have a similar, like a regime or a schedule that looks very similar each day, but then come the weekend, or whatever the weekend days are for you, your days off work, right? Come the weekend, is it different? You're not taking the kids to school. You're not taking yourself to work. The dog gets walked later, right? Whatever these things are, guarantee you your days off look very different to your days on. So why are you creating the same level of expectations? Let me know if this is resonating. Pop in the chat for me. Tell me if this makes sense. If you have experienced this before, let me know in the chat. Okay, reason number 4. You use your weekend as an excuse not create the results you desire. Listen again, I kind of butchered that. You use the weekend as an excuse to not create the results you desire. So you're probably thinking, well, why would I do something if I want something else? Like, why am I intentionally doing something to sabotage my own results? Your habit brain, your conscious part of the brain that does most of the conscious part of the brain that does the most like thinking and stuff, that doesn't always have a conversation with your subconscious. Okay. Now the problem here is your Logical brain, you want something. But your subconscious, all it wants to do is exert the least amount of energy, stay safe and alive, and avoid pain. They are the three main things that your brain is operating on to stay alive, stay as a human, to stay on this planet. So you might think, I want weight loss, I want to get into that bikini by summer, I want to get into my dress, I want to look good for the wedding. You might think that, but your subconscious is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, if we do that, that is really scary. No, thanks. I don't want to do that. That's uncomfortable. That's a different version of me. Or even, I don't know what happens if we do that. For example, I don't know what happens if I stop drinking alcohol on the weekend. Like, we've not done that in 10 years. I'm scared because that's my comfort blanket and it's going to be taken away from me. So I'm going to make you feel so fucking uncomfortable now that want to, you don't want to change. So you stay the same. So you're there going, oh, if I could just quit alcohol or reduce my alcohol, I'd be able to lose weight, but I don't want to lose my alcohol. And when you say I don't want to get rid of it, or when you start coming up with reasons or ways to get rid of it, that's when you go, but because it's part of your subconscious saying, no, let's not change because we don't know who we are if we change. That is uncomfortable. And I'm not ready to face that. So believe it or not, your brain is at war with itself all the time. And typically your subconscious wins, especially if it is a potential threat to your existence. Okay. You might not see this at first. This might take a little bit of coaching, a little bit of eking, some questions, some journaling, but this happens all the damn time. All the time. Every single one of my clients experiences this level of self-sabotage, we call it in coaching. This level of self-sabotage. You're not intentionally trying to fuck yourself over. It's just to support a coping mechanism that we have as human beings, the beautiful evolution that that we have become, these wonderful people who have these different levels of their brain. However, it's kind of working against you in like today's society. Like, take it back, way back to when we just had clubs and a cave. It's fine, fine. We didn't have cars. We didn't have cars. We didn't have to look out for our own safety to be run over by a fucking Tesla, which you can't even hear anymore, right? We didn't have to stick to deadlines or hand in our homework on time. So way back then, it had a reason. The subconscious, it had a reason. But now it kind of just gets in the damn way because we get so comfortable with all of these dopamine and serotonin giving things and foods, access to foods and alcohol like the click of your fingers, access to gambling and addictive kind of foods and substances and activities like shopping, for example. All of these things are at the end of our fingertips now. Okay, so what we desire is so disconnected to what we would have desired back then. And our subconscious, I think I'm going off on a tangent here, bring it back around, Bianca. And our subconscious back then wouldn't have accounted for all of these things that we do have now, right? And so it doesn't still, because we haven't evolved yet to work with the technology that we have. Stop rambling, Bianca. Okay, chill, you're being right. The second to last thing that I have for you, number E. I didn't number them, I lettered them, so it would have been a lot easier if I numbered them. A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5. You're probably busy being responsible all week long, being a boss, being an employee, being a mum, being a sister, being a best friend, being a daughter, being a role model, being an influence. being a volunteer, whatever you're being throughout the week, I guarantee you've probably got a little bit of responsibility on your shoulders, right? How many people look up to you? How many people do you look after? How many people are dependent on you? If you're lucky enough to not have anyone dependent on you, how many people do you feel like you have to abide by their rules? So even if you don't have anyone to look after per se, how many of you that don't have anyone to look after also are a people pleaser? How many of you look after people and you're a people pleaser? Throughout the week, you've got so much responsibility on your shoulders, or this perception of responsibility. You've got all of this thinking of doing things by other people's watch, doing them by everyone else's rules, following other rules, right? Being a good employee, being a good boss, making sure that everyone is okay. So that by the time the weekend comes, there's a possibility that you can actually let down your goddamn hair. Rapunzel, you can let down your hair, right? So this weekend, if this is an opportunity for you to let down your hair, just notice, do you feel exhausted from the week? Is the first time that you sit down and scoff your face off or drink loads of alcohol, is that the first time of your day where maybe you're alone, whether it's 3 p.m., 8 a.m., 9 p.m., always on a Friday, always on a Saturday, whatever your pattern is, have you noticed that perhaps if you're a super busy person, if you've got a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders, that maybe these things happen typically when you have no responsibility? In fact, one of the clients that I was talking about earlier, using as an example, we had a long, lengthy conversation about this. She would put the kids to bed after a really busy day of looking after everyone else, other people. First thing that she would do in the evening, as soon as the responsibilities were lifted and the kids were asleep, that's it, I get to be me. So what was she doing? Binging, wine, sugar, cookies, crisps. Oh, feel sick, go to bed. She was stuck in a cycle because she didn't address the fact that the responsibilities needed to be let off, and that steam needed to be let off in a different way, right? Just because there's no one around or just because the responsibilities have gone doesn't mean that the next best thing for you to do to say screw you to the world, I'm going to stuff my face and no one can see me, is just that. So if you find that you are responsible for many people, if you have to stick to other people's rules, if you're a people pleaser, have a look in your life, have a look around your life, have a look at your eating patterns and notice, is it just at the weekends or is it in the evenings as well? Finally, I think I've already mentioned this as well. Yeah, this kind of ties into the one that I talked about earlier. So I mentioned about the fact that you probably don't have a different plan for the weekend. Okay, so you have this expectation of you to get up at a certain time, go to the gym, do this, do that, all at the same time, Monday to Friday. You have the plan in place, but you don't have a plan in place for the weekend. I mentioned that earlier. I also want to add to that as my last final point. Your expectations of your weekend also needs to change, right? If you know that every single weekend you're saying to yourself, damn, wish I had more self-discipline, I wish I had more control, I will start tomorrow. If that is your cycle, then we need to break that cycle, break the expectations. I expect to have some wine. I can plan to have some wine. I expect to get a takeaway. I will plan to have a takeaway, right? The plan and the expectations, they go hand in hand. I don't know why I split them up on my notes, but have a very different expectation, but a very realistic expectation of yourself and of what you want from your weekend. Really important to have a look at what your life is like throughout the week. Figure out what you're missing. Are you missing celebration? Are you missing joy? Are you missing a lack of responsibilities, like that freedom? What are you lacking throughout the week that you so badly want at the weekend? And then ask yourself this: how am I going to get that without food or alcohol? Not can I, but how am I? A lot of us think that food or alcohol is the only solution to our problems. It's the only solution to our problems that you have stuck with, that has probably worked for many, many, many years, but it's not the only solution. Think about it. Think about people who don't drink alcohol. I'm not standing here saying that I'm a fucking saint. I stopped drinking in November. I had 3 glasses of wine as arranged on Christmas Day. But like, so you get the point, right? So how do people who don't drink celebrate? How do people who don't drink wind down after a stressful day? How do they cope? Right? It's just your perception that alcohol or food or drugs or whatever it is, or shopping, gambling, it's just your perception that that is your only way to wind down. It's not, it's just the only way that you currently use. Please drop in the chat. Please drop in the comments right now. Does this resonate? Does this make sense? Does this sound like you? Does this sound like something that you can implement, that you can shift? Do any one of these reasons sound like something that you're guilty of experiencing? Probably the wrong words. I probably shouldn't say guilty, but it's perfectly normal. And the reasons why you're blowing out on the weekend are these, right? So we want to be able to enjoy our weekend without screwing up our goals. They are the reasons, so change them. How do we enjoy the weekend without screwing up our goals? Take every one of those reasons, figure out which one is the reason why you're screwing your goals and throwing it all in the garbage in the weekends, and then fix it. Fix the root problem. It's not the food that you're around. It's not the company. You can't say, my friends made me drink 10 margaritas. Oh, but so-and-so brought me a shot of tequila. Fuck off. Like, that's the lamest excuse I've ever heard. If that, like, how many times have you heard, oh, but if they told you to jump off a cliff, would you? Well, would you? I think along with that is a little bit of like a slap in the face of reality, rock up your ass and say, come on, girl, take a bit of responsibility. Your lack of results is from a lack of planning, typically. So pull your finger out if you really want your goal and start making your weekends a successful one. All of these things, by the way, that I've covered today, all of the reasons why you blow out on the weekends, the ways that you can overcome them, the systems and the questions that you can ask and implement and ask, all of these things, all of the things that are actually going to really, really help you on the weekend. If you are one of these that blows out on the weekend, I want you to sign up for the July challenge. Free 5-day one-to-one training. Get your ass on board. It is free. You have nothing to lose. You have a free 5-day coaching experience that is out of this world, right? There's an opportunity for a competition so you can win more. If you're not in it, you won't get the results that you want. Everything, if you are still watching this right now, whether it's on replay or live, by the way, I know I know because you've watched through this that the challenge is going to be a freaking game changer for you because of everything that we coach in there. Because the very reason why I got 4 hours worth of sleep last night is because I was improving and perfecting something that was already insane. Insane value, insane education, insane transformations and breakthroughs. The results have been freaking insane. 5 pounds in a couple of weeks, 15 pounds in 2 weeks, 14 pounds in 2 weeks. But it's ridiculous. The results are ridiculous. And I set people up for sustainable weight loss. Turns out I set people up to drop their weight off and stay down, which is amazing. Which is amazing. So come enjoy the free 5-day challenge. All you've got to do is comment the word method, and I will pop you over all of the details you need to get you registered. Okay. If you're watching this and July has gone or the challenge has gone, DM me method anyway. I don't know if I'm going to do another one. I don't know when, and I don't know what the dates are. But I should rerun them because they're epic. They're insane. And yes, I'm tooting my own horn. And I have no problems with doing that because of the amount of time and stuff that I've put into these. So even if you're watching this late and the challenge is already gone, the July one, message me method and I'll get you registered on the next upcoming one. Take care, guys. I have no idea how to sign out of this today. I'll see you all soon.